All right, guys, now it's time to print, and I'll show you how to do that. Um, Setting up a station over here, and I have a couple stamps that I've made. So I finished this doing. I left in the last video, I told you guys to cut off the edges. Make sure and also make sure you carve away the edges. I left one edge on just to show you why this is a bad idea. Okay, I have another one here that I made in a different class, and I'm going to do two different kinds of prints right now. I'm just going to do a regular one and then what's called a rainbow roll, and I have some different things. So here I have this black bench hook that I can use to put some ink and roll it down. And I also have this clear plastic one, which can also be used to roll out your ink. We have a brayer, which is used to roll our ink. And then we'll have also a Baren, which helps us print and make sure our print comes out nice and smooth. And then here we have a lovely, it's called a registration. It's where we place our stamp so that it kind of fits snugly in. So I think I'm going to go into full screen mode now. Okay. And show you how to set this stuff up. So one thing that I like to do is to set up my registration. Okay. And like I told you, this is where we put our block so that it just fits snug in here. So before I print, I like to take a piece of paper so it's all nice and ready to go. Basically, we will put our stamp there. We'll ink it. We'll ink the stamp. We'll put it in here. That's the right order. And then the paper will go on top and we will make our stamp. We'll print it. So before that happens, why don't you just grab my piece of paper and just set it up so it's ready to go. I like to put a little piece of hinge tape right there so that it's like a little door. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and on this one, just use the plain plastic to roll out my ink. So the deal with some of this ink is that less is more, basically. It's like a nice squeeze out bottle of ink. And I also have these bigger jars of ink. And if you want to use a color from one of these, oh, it's like glued shut. If you want to use one of these colors, it's totally fine. You can just take that and grab a spatula and you could just get some of the ink out from there. Okay, do that way, or the squeeze bottles are very convenient. Now I would like to note one more thing. Notice that my area here is covered in newspaper because this is a messy process. Something you also want to make sure too, remember the little shreds from our from carving, our forbidden Parmesan? Those are gone. Okay, we don't want those anywhere near where we print because those get stuck in the brayer. It gets stuck in the ink. It's really hard to get out. So just make sure you wipe off your desk. Okay, so easy peasy. You only need a very little bit of ink. Okay, to do printing. Just a little bit of ink. If you could always add more, but it's hard to take it away. So have nice clean brayer right here. Please notice after we're done using it, we leave it wheel side up. It's got a nice little rest. Okay, and we need to roll this. Now, we want to cover our roller, our brayer, with the ink, and we know that it's ready to go by the sound that the ink makes on the roller. Okay, so what we're looking for, we don't want it to sound gloppy because then that's too much ink. We want a nice thin layer and it'll sound staticky. So I'm going to start rolling. I'm going to roll down, 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 and then I'm going to push, pull, push, pull. Okay, so I'm rolling down just to get the ink down. There we go. And now I can go back and forth. And you can hear it. It doesn't sound gloppy. It just sounds like white noise, just static noise. And that tells me I have the right amount of ink on my brayer. And now what I can do is very quickly You don't want to over ink this, but that looks like just about the right amount. Notice I inked it away from my registration. Now I will set it into my registration, and then just take your piece of paper, go over it, take your Baron. This makes sure that there's good contact with the paper. Okay, and there you go, very good. Okay, so let's talk about this. So we did a pretty good job on carving away our design of Stewie, right? But now we have all these extra stuff in the background. Now, this is known as chatter. Okay, all these little extra bits that we can kind of tell weren't supposed to be there. Now, sometimes chatter can be good because it creates a little texture in the background, which is kind of nice. But then sometimes it can leave marks that we maybe don't really want. Or if there's too much chatter, then our design gets kind of muddled. Now, this one came out okay. I was also done this one in the past, which the chatter was okay, but I got this big chunk of chatter right here, and on my little fairy face right here, it almost looks like she got in a fight or something, and she's got a big scar on her face now. So, doing an initial print like this can tell you whether or not you need to go back and kind of clean some stuff up. So, looking at this and where a lot of ink was caught on here. Even though I carved this stuff away, and I told you guys don't carve too deep, it's okay. You can carve away at this a little bit more so that the design comes out a little cleaner. Especially for me, I want to clean up Stewie's face because it looks like he's got cat scratches all over him, and I'm just not really feeling it. So there's that. And I also wanted to show you, remember that we were looking for that perfect amount of ink on the roller, just that nice thin layer, and you could hear it. Remember? That sound is where it's at. Okay, that was perfect. Now, if you load too much ink onto a roller and then you roll your stamp, you'll kind of see it later, how the ink kind of fills up the places that you carve. It makes the stamp look, the print look really, really blurry. You can literally see how the ink was just kind of gushing out. So that's why you want the perfect amount, the right amount of ink on the roller. Now I'll do one more, and this time I'll do a rainbow roll. So a rainbow roll is 2 colors of ink that start to blend, and it's really pretty. Okay, so again, you don't need a lot, just a little dab will do ya. Okay. And put a little dab right there. Okay. And my brayer is nice and clean. No evidence of any forbidden Parmesan anywhere. And okay, so remember, I'm going to pull down. And then once that ink kind of goes down the bench hook, this is a bench hook, then I'm going to start to push and pull and push and pull. Okay, and then there you go. Okay, now I don't hear the noise yet. So I think I need to spread the ink out a little bit more. And it's still too much. So I'm actually going to come over to my newspaper over here and just kind of get rid of a little bit of it because it's just not making the noise. And now I hear it. So what I will do is I will find my other block. Okay. And with the rainbow roll, you can only go in one direction. If I go like and then like this, then I ruin the beautiful gradient I created. Okay, just to make sure I really got it on there. I loaded a little more ink on and grab my registration. Put this on top. And go. All right, that looks pretty cool. A little bit of chatter in the background, but I don't mind it. I could still see the initials here and the little shape that I made right there. And that's pretty much it.